Hey guys, this is Thor and Box, and yeah, welcome back for another World of Tanks Blitz video. So, recording from outside my house, I'm going to give you guys the information about the AMX M449 and the Lorraine 40T or 40 ton. So, these stats that I'm going to give you guys is subject to change, which means in the future updates, even though it's still not in the game, it will be updated by Wargaming. Some of the information I got is from Blitz Hanger, some of the information I got is from World of Tanks PC. Now the reason why I got some information from World of Tanks PC is because on Blitz Hanger, the armor profile on these tanks are still not inputted in Blitz Hanger. But in all honesty, if you're going to compare the armors or armor profile on both Blitz and what PC, is just the same. So I'm going to give you first the stats on the AMX M449. So this tank is a tier 8 French heavy tank. This is a premium tank. So going to the firepower on the tank, you get a 100mm SA-47 gun. The AP penetration is 232, damage is 310, APCR, your penetration is 263, the damage goes down to 260. HE, you get 50mm of penetration and 350 damage on the HE. Now going to the rate of fire, you get around 7 rounds a minute, and reload time is 8.34 seconds. The aim time is okay, around 2.21. The dispersion is 0.355. Now, one of the good things on this gun is the gun depression. You get around 10 degrees of gun depression, and the gun elevation is 20 degrees. Now, going to the DPM, you get around 2,170 damage per minute, and the turret traverse speed is around 29.20 degrees. So, the turret traverse is a bit slow, so you need to be careful on that one. Going to the mobility of the tank, 40 kilometers per hour going forward, 15 going backwards, and the traverse speed is 26.08. So again, if a medium tank is going to flank you, you will be having a hard time turning your tank, so you need to be careful when you're facing against mediums and light tanks. Armor on this tank on World of Tanks perspective, so this is on World of Tanks PC armor profile. The front armor is around 190, side hull is 55, and rear is 40. The front turret is 250, and the side turret is 120, and the rear is 60. Actually, this tank is very oops, sorry. This tank is very, what do you call this, heavily armored. So when I faced this back in World of Tanks PC, I had a hard time penetrating it and hitting the weak spots on this tank. So let's go to Armor Inspector to show you guys the armor profile on this tank. And as you can see, it's very red on the front. So if you're going to try to take down this tank, I do recommend you shoot the cupola over here, which is only around 60 millimeters, and also the top of the turret, which is around 60. So yes, don't shoot the frontal turret because it's 190 millimeters and it's angled, so maybe it's around 220. The side is around 150. It's a bit angled, so we're looking at a 175, I guess, of side armor on this part. Now, the weaknesses on the front is the cupola, the top of the turret over here, and the lower plate, which is only around 120. Don't shoot the turret because it's 180 over here, 250 thickness over here. So if you're going to use the gun depression, again, we have 10 degrees of gun depression over here, which basically this 190 millimeters of frontal armor is going to be most likely unpenetrable on tier 8 and tier 9. But again, if it's going to use this 10 degrees of gun depression, you can either shoot this lower plate because obviously it will be exposed if you're going to use its full gun depression, and also the cupola is still visible. So these two are your main things that you need to shoot on this tank. If it's going to use only 4 degrees, let's say, 4 degrees like that, the lower plate will be hidden since a lot of let's say hills or slopes on the game are a bit steep. So if it's going to use its 4 degrees of gun depression, the only hope that you can get through this tank is the cupola again and the top part of the turret. So I do recommend you, if you're going to use the full armor on this tank, the full potential of its armor, do it like this, a frontal assault like that. Don't angle your tank like this, because if you angle your tank like this part only has 150 millimeters of armor, which means any caliber gun can, you know, basically go through that plate, since on tier 8 there are a lot of tanks that has 200 plus penetration, so you need to be careful when you're angling like that, or if you want to do a peek-a-boom technique. Again, the armor is good on this tank, so I do recommend you face your enemy like this. So going to the side armor, this is where it gets interesting. Going to the turret first, you get 60 millimeters on this side of the turret. This is the only part that is 120 on the armor profile, and going to this side is 180 again. So if you're going to shoot the sides, either shoot here, which is only 55 millimeters, and over here, which is 60 millimeters. Now going to the back, if you have a high caliber gun with the high penetration on its HE, just shoot this part, which is only 40 millimeters, and 60 millimeters on this side of the tank. So yes, that's all of the information that I have for the AMX M449. So the armor is good, gun depression is good, the gun is good. Only downside is some of the parts of the tank is not heavily armored, so you can get HD a lot, but and also the cupola, but it's a balancing part of this tank, so it's okay for me. I'm very excited for this tank, and yeah, let's jump into the AMX or the Lorraine 40T. So going to the Lorraine 40T, this is a tier 8 French premium tank. It is a medium tank. So it has the same gun with the AMX M449 100mm SA47. Going to the AP, the penetration is 212, the damage is 225. On the APCR, we get 259 on penetration, the damage is 190. The penetration on the HE is 45 and the damage is 270. Now the shell reload time or the intercrypt reload time, we get around 3 seconds per shell. On the magazine reload, you get 24.47 seconds on the reload time per magazine. Now the magazine size is 4, which is actually very good as compared to other tanks that only has 3 clips or 3 rounds per clip. So on the aim time, you get 2.21 second aiming time, and dispersion is 0.336 or 0.34. Now going to the gun depression, only 8 degrees, gun elevation is 9 degrees, and the DPM is very low as compared to the AMX M449 at 1575. Now going to the turret traverse speed, you get 41.72 degrees, so you won't have any problems turning your turret if medium tank or a light tank flanks you. Now going to the mobility, you get 60 kilometers per hour going forward, and backwards you get around 23 kilometers per hour. The traverse speed is 35.46. So basically this tank is very fast, very mobile. You won't have any trouble trying to kill those tanks who are flanking you. But the only downside, look at the armor. This is again World of Tanks perspective. Front hull armor, you get 40 millimeters, side is 30 millimeters, and the rear is 25 millimeters. The turret is 45 millimeters, the side is 30, and the rear is 20 millimeters. So it's not heavily armored. You will be having trouble trying to bounce shots from enemy teams. If you're going to go to Armor Inspector, look at that. Basically you can penetrate this tank from everywhere. Again, the front armor is only 40 millimeters, the turret is 45, the side is 30, and the back is 25 millimeters. If you have a high caliber gun with high penetration on the HE, just shoot either the lower plate on this tank, since the lower plate is very big actually. So if you're going to utilize your 8 degrees of gun depression like this, you're exposing your big weak points. So I do recommend, if you're going to use this tank, this is a support tank. Basically it is a support tank because it has no armor, but the gun is good. The only problem is the armor. So if you're going to scout using this tank, since it's very fast, please be careful, because if you're going to expose your sides, it's only 30 millimeters, and if an IC-152 or any other Russian tank sees you, they're gonna shoot HE at your sides or at your back. So this tank is an HE magnet, but all in all, it's good in terms of speed. The gun is good, and what can you say? It's a very mobile tank that has 4 clips, 4 rounds per clip, and you don't see that much ammo capacity per magazine on high tiers. So yes, it's a very good tank, but if you're going to ask me which of these two is better, my money is on the AMX M449 because it has good armor, the speed is okay, the gun is very good. What else can you ask for that tank? It's very, very, very good frontally, and the only problem is the weak point, which is very big, the cupola. So if your game is you want autoloaders, the MX40 or the Lorraine 40T is okay, but again, be careful when you're going to drive this tank because of the armor profile. So other information that I know is I'm not sure if these two tanks will be sold as container tanks again. Wargaming, please stop that. It's like what they did to the MX30 1ER, but hopefully these tanks will be an event tank, or they will only sell it, because again, these two tanks are good. I don't know how Wargaming will sell these tanks, but let's see. And those are the only information that I know about these two tanks. If you want more information about these two tanks, I'm going to post a link on Blitz Hangar where I got all these information. And yeah, hope to see you guys in the next one. So this is Thor and Box signing out. Peace and God bless to all.